Hello, everyone. Welcome to the fifth episode of English4U. If I were to put forward a statement that the present day English had its origin from parts of West Germany and Netherlands of today's map, how many of you would agree to it? It seems very strange. In fact, the modern day English language had its origin from the West Germanic tribe and parts of Netherlands in today's world. One good thing about the English language is that it had its doors and windows wide open to the world, so that it built a huge amount of word or vocabulary in its dictionary. Many of the foreign words found a place in the English language. Many of the local words found a place in the English language. For example, words like bazaar and namaste of Indian origin are part of the English language today. Today's episode is dedicated to vocabulary or the word power. Each of us who are keen in learning the language and to understand it much better need to have a good vocabulary at hand. How do we cultivate good vocabulary? There are three important steps that we could use for it. First is we have to understand the origin of the word. For example, if I were to take two words, the first word is juggernaut, Juggrnaut. If we are to take the origin of that word, it had its roots in the Jagannath festival, which happens in Orissa. The chariot race and the confusion and chaos created by it found the word juggernaut. If we are to take another word and find its origin, like a word like sandwich, it refers to a nobleman who lived centuries before, who had a keen sense of gambling and who did not want to leave his table for that particular taste that he had. So he had his lunch in the form of sandwich, and based on that person's name, the word sandwich came. If we are learning according to that and based on the origin of a word, the vocabulary or the word power that we intend to build up will be much easier and more fascinating. The second is to use the vocabulary according to the context. We are never supposed to use very hard and technical words to smaller children or people of a younger age. In business meetings or persons who are employed or who are aged, it's always better to use good word so that the other person will get an impression on it. Always remember, if we are to use proper words and if we have a good word power, it's that means we will have that knowledge in us so that the other person will recognize as a much impressive person in terms of language. It pertains to all the four skills like listening, reading, speaking, and writing. Finally, and most importantly, is the way that we use it based on the meaning. If we are to learn a word each day and if we are to understand the meaning of it, one example that I can quote, for example, we always use the word blind or visually challenged to a person who cannot see. It's a better way to use the word differently abled, because a person who is blind and sits in a dark room, he can write and or he can read using the braille, in which a person who has sight cannot do that. So they are differently abled. There are many other words in English which have a good meaning, and if we are to use it in a different way, in a different word, it will be much better. Always, as I said in the beginning, it's better to have all the words incorporated into the different skills. If we are speaking something and if we are using a word which has a different value or which is not so commonly used, the other person will think about it. For example, the word bright and dark. If we are to use a different word for bright like sunny, sunny, and dark, if we are to use a different word for it, it will be much helpful to us. So my suggestion in this new year 2015 is to have the viewers of English4U learn at least a word each week. A word each day is ideal, but a word each week will be perfect. And based on the three principles that I said, if you are to learn by the origin and by the context that we are using it, and finally by the meaning in which we are catering to it, it will be a fantastic journey. Wish everyone a great 2015 ahead, and don't remember to learn a word each week. Thanks a lot, and do enjoy a blissful and meaningful 2015 ahead. Do take care. Bye bye.